What's up, minifigs, and welcome back to Hunter's Lego Room. Today we're going to be checking out set number 72046, the Game Boy. It released back in October of 2025. It has 421 pieces and retails for $60 in the United States, $60 in the UK, $80 in Canada, and $99 in Australia. There are no minifigures to look at. There are only two stickers in the set, but we'll go ahead and take a look right now. We'll go ahead and pull this aside and we'll look at the Game Boy itself. It does have a little stand we'll look at, but you've got a nice one-to-one Game Boy here. It is almost identical to an actual Game Boy. All of these details you see are prints. You've got your power, your on-off switch, the stereo button up there. Your buttons down here are labeled. You've got a headphone jack down there. Your A and B buttons do actually press in, and they do come right back out. That one got a little stuck on me, but the B button works a lot better for me. The start and select button go in right there, and they actually have some pretty nice building techniques for these. The D-pad right there also presses in. You have a switch up here for your on-off switch, and you just pull it side to side to turn it off and on. It's a very simple detail, but it works really nice. Over here, you have the contrast dial, which just turns right there in that little gear. And over here, you have the volume dial. And then you have the exterior connector, which there is nothing for that. But going back, we have our little lenticular display there, which we'll take another look at. Back here, you just have the back of it, which this right here is a print for the back cover. You have one of your game cartridges here, which comes right out. And then behind it, you have this little piece that holds your game cartridges in just to make sure they don't fall out. So that will come out anytime you replace it. You move this back, and you can actually swap out these little screens here. This is a lenticular screen, so as you move it, it kind of switches. So there's what happens when you just turn the Game Boy on. You see the word Nintendo come down like that. You have some more screens here. This one is from the game Link's Awakening with some seagulls that move, if I can get that to kind of show up. It's a little hard to see in my camera, but you also have one for Super Mario Land. And as you move this one, you can see Mario kind of jumping, hitting the little block, and a star comes out. Looking here, you have your first game cartridge. So this is for Super Mario Land. It is a print up there at the top where it says Nintendo Game Boy, but the big part that says Super Mario Land is a sticker. You can barely see what the circuitry looks like in there, but you get a lot better view of it when you're building. You can just barely see it. This is your other game cartridge for The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Again, the gold part down there is the sticker, and Nintendo Game Boy at the top is a print. Here is your little stand for whichever game cartridge you are using and whichever little display screens you aren't using. They slot right here in the back. You've got room for two of them, while the third one sits in the Game Boy. And then these little clips here go right down onto the stand, so that way it can display right next to the Game Boy. Looking back at this, you remove the bar again, and we will just put one of our alternate screens in there. So we'll put the Mario one in, slide it down, push it to the front, put the little bar back in. We will take our cartridge, slot it down in there. You will take that little piece I mentioned, put it back into place, and then you will cover it back up with the little plate that has your serial number on it. And all in all, this is a really nice little package. Again, it's nearly one-to-one with an actual Game Boy. You have a small stand here, which just slots in with your headphone jack. And it is a really simple stand, not a big use of pieces, but it gets the job done. This set has 421 pieces and retails for $60 in the United States, $60 in Europe, $80 in Canada, and $100 in Australia. And honestly, I'm a pretty big fan of this. I didn't have an original Game Boy growing up, but I did have the Game Boy Advance, but I've always been a big Nintendo fan. And I think that this package is really nice. I think the details on the Game Boy, the small functionalities you get with the buttons and being able to switch out the screens, I think it adds a lot to it. I don't know how much it would cost to get an actual Game Boy. That would be an even bigger win if that's what you were going for. But I think if you're a big Nintendo fan and you like Legos, I think you can't really go wrong with this. Maybe it's a little overpriced, but for a big Nintendo set, I think that this is actually really cool. Now, a lot of you may be wondering where I've been. I was actually recommended by a friend to review this set, and it got me interested in coming back here. So I'm grateful to this friend because we're going to try YouTube again this year. Thank you all for watching this video. If you stuck around to the end, thank you. Please like and subscribe to the video. I would love to get up to 2,000 subscribers this year, but I think that's all for today. So thank you all for watching Hunter's Lego Room.